wherever you are. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for tuning in to LockerTalk podcast, where you hear about NFL stars of tomorrow today. I'm your host, Barry Barnes, founder and CEO of Locka-report.com. And you guys can always go to the site. Make sure you go to the site, check out all this fresh content on the NFL that you will not receive or hear anywhere around here on the globe, around the planet. You will not find this special type of content in regards to the NFL nowhere else. And also, make sure you guys are always following any one of my social handles on Twitter at Locker_reports, on Instagram, LockReport100, all small caps, on Facebook, LockerReport.com, and also LockerTalk Podcast on Facebook. But the page I need you guys to always subscribe to. Yes, come on. You know the drill. You know the drill.
Come on. Come on.
That's right. Come on, man. Follow, subscribe to LockerTalk Podcast on YouTube. And also, you guys can always check me out on the Bachelor News Radio Network. Friday mornings, 9 o'clock. But anytime you want to, just go to that site. You'll definitely find this fresh content on the NFL. Like I said, you will not hear anywhere else on the face of this earth, which I am very proud of. Now, we know on LockerTalk, we always talk about the players who came through the NFL Regional Combine platform. Yes, these fantastic, once unknown players come through this process to get to the NFL, and these guys are doing a fantastic job in the NFL. But this show is not about those guys. It's about my other guys. And you know I'm wearing the stripes. Anytime I wear the stripes, you know who I'm going to talk about. Yes, NFL officiating. Yes, these my fellow brothers and sisters, although I'm not an official. But, hey, these great men and women who I call the NFL caretakers that take care of the game, making sure everything is played within bounds the way how the rules are set up with the NFL. And yes, you know, teams and coaches take their shots at these guys, and these guys go through a whole lot of things on the field. However, despite all being game planned against, and despite, you know, types of air, or better yet, the type of accumulations they deal with out there with the weather and all kinds of stuff, and digesting all that they need to process to be able to be on top of this, what I call blur speed game. This game is so fast on the field. It's like the closer and closer you get to the field, folks, trust me, the closer and closer you get onto the field, the faster the game is. And for these men and women to be able to be on the field, to clock these great on-field calls in the speed of the game, I tell you, it is fantastic. Something that you cannot overlook. And everyone have highlights, right? Players have highlights. Players like to see what they did on the field. Well, officials, the NFL officials, they like to see their highlights too. Now, these guys, they're not going to go around patting themselves on the back, but hey, go ahead. You deserve it. Pat yourself on the back. Don't worry. Hey, I'll do it for you too. I'll do it. I know you guys not going to do it, but anyway, either way, we're going to talk about NFL officiating in a good sense, trying to humanize the process. Players have their highlights, and officials, they have their highlights too. On this show, we're going to talk about some great on-field calls that were made without help from instant replay that they was able to nail on the field. And we're going to get right into it, and we're going to talk about pretty much how this season was towards the end. Now, we did a lot of highlights with them during the course of the season, and this portion is going to wrap up what they did towards the end of the season. I will come out with another podcast talking about some good calls that was made during the postseason. But this is a wrap up from week 13 on into ending the 2020 NFL season. Now, like I said, when you look at the highlights for the officials, it's truly a testament, when you want to see today, truly a testament of their diligence, how they monitor the process, how they take the process seriously, and how they monitor their craft. This is what these highlights is going to show. And we're going to start with week 13, when the Minnesota Vikings took on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, this highlight is not what you would see as far as some good toe drag swag or good toe tapping on the field. We'll get to that. There's some good ones. But this was one of those highlights that pretty much it got overlooked, but it was a great on-field call in this matchup. Now, when the Vikings was facing 1st and 10 on the Jaguars' 11-yard line with 38 seconds left in the third quarter, Vikings quarterback Kirk Cousins took the ball from center and handed the ball off to running back Dalvin Cook. Now, Dalvin Cook was rolling during this process as they were driving down the field. So Cook took the ball and he powered his way into the crowd and the trenches of players, and Cook approached the goal line, and then he extended his body and the ball over the goal line while he was laying on top of fullback C.J. Ham. Now, in that pile, it looked like from the naked eye that it was 6 points on the board. However, not according to Lan Clark's crew when we had down judge Trip Sutter and line judge Mark Stewart. Both of these guys was on top of this play, despite the crowd, despite the fact that Dalvin Cook was actually trying to bully his way through the defenders. That's when we recognized that Sutter and Stewart recognized that when Cook was extending the ball over the goal line, they noticed that his left shoulder hit the turf despite landing on top of C.J. Ham. When they recognized that, they had a conversation, they had a good observation and recognized that that was not a touchdown, and he was down before the ball broke the claim. And we see here on the video once again that his left shoulder right there hit the ground right before the ball actually came across the goal line. That was great observation on Sutter and Stewart to nail that great on-field call without the use of instant replay. That was fantastic. Now, same week 13 of the NFL, when the Denver Broncos and Kansas City Chiefs. Now, this play was fantastic. And when I say that the game is like blur speed, this is one of those plays that, bam, it looked like they was out of bounds. But, hey, this is why it's only a small percentage of men and women that can actually officiate this game. And the NFL had the best set of officials that can be able to do it. Now, in the third quarter, 3 minutes and 54 seconds left, the Broncos was facing 1st and 10 for the Chiefs' 10-yard line. Broncos quarterback Drew Locka took the ball from center, and you see him just toss the ball up in the air right after the snap as a fade corner post to wide receiver Tim Patrick. Now, Tim Patrick reached over Chiefs cornerback Rashard Brilliant and snatched the ball out the air, came down and looked like he even fell out of bounds, that he was out of bounds on this play. But when we look at this play one more time, really closely, we'll see that when he caught the pass, yes, he did fall out of bounds. But if you're looking at replay, we see field judge Rick Patterson, who's normally a part of Brad Allen's crew, as he ran over to signal incomplete and said that Patrick was out of bounds. Now, while Pat was rolling over, you saw how he just jumped up immediately and pointed at the spot, showing that he landed in the end zone. So here comes line judge Rusty Baines, who was normally a part of Jerome Bogart's crew. He walked up the sideline to Peterson. They got into a quick discussion. After a brief discussion or conversation, that's when Patterson backed up, signaled a touchdown, with Baines signaling the score as well. Now, we see here with the instant replay that when the ball was in flight, we see that Patrick caught the pass while he was in the air, but his left foot landed in the end zone, and awkwardly, he tapped his right foot down right here in the end zone slightly before he was pushed out of bounds by Brilliant. Replay looked at it. After replay, the call stood. That was great teamwork with Patterson and Baines to be able to come together on a brief conversation to show that, yes, initially it was ruled incomplete, out of bounds, but when Baines came over, they talked about it. That's when they recognized it was a touchdown, and there was money on the spot for that play. So there was great teamwork between these two officials. Now, we're going to jump up to Week 15. Week 15 was something else. I tell you, Week 15 was really good. And we still talk about the Kansas City Chiefs and the Kansas City Chiefs playing the New Orleans Saints. Now, this game, in this particular play, the Chiefs was facing 2nd and goal from the Saints' 5-yard from the 5-yard line with 8 minutes and 35 seconds left in the third quarter. Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes received the ball from shotgun formation, and he ran the play actions towards left. Now, as you see, as he traditionally do, backpedal, and the next thing you know, towards his left, he rifled the pass to the corner of the end zone to wide receiver Mecole Hardman. Now Hardman actually caught the pass, but he ran out of bounds. Now, for a moment, everyone paused. See how everyone just paused? They looked around. They really kind of undecided. The only ones that was on top of the play, exactly, those NFL caretakers, they was on top of it. I'm telling you, this is why these guys are the best in the world. Now, while everybody was a little confused, side judge Scott Edward pointed to the spot, and from that snap. Now, this is the part that I like about this whole play, how the process was going through it. Now, side judge Scott Edwards recognized where the spot was. Now, before the play had started, if we look at what down judge Kent Payne did, Kent Payne followed this play step by step with intensity. And when Edwards had pointed to the spot, the other Payne, who's also both guys from Scott Novak's crew, he paused before he gave the signal. You see how he paused real fast? That's when Edwards had signaled the complete, and then they both put the signal up for the touchdown. Now, all the while, back judge Terrence Miles, he witnessed the process as well. He just stayed in his position, but he watched and monitored that whole play going through. Now, replay displayed that when Harmon fielded the ball, his teammate, Sammy Watkins, wide receiver, was right there in the same spot. But the ball got towards Harmon first. Harmon caught the ball and he landed his right foot inbounds right there. And while he was catching the pass, that's when you recognize that his left foot was dragging in the end zone at the same time. The play happened so quickly that it kept everyone who was near that play in slow suspense. But all the while, the officiating crew, like I said, was all over this play the whole step of the way. After replay had surely showed that it was a complete catch, that's when a play had stood on the field. Edwards and Payne, along with Miles, who was the back judge, these guys nailed this fantastic play in live speed. Like I said, it's not hard. These guys always get criticized for, but no one talks about how professional these guys are in live speed officiating. It's the best in the world. Now, week 16. Week 16, fantastic weekend. Minnesota Vikings and the Saints. Like, I'm picking on the Saints, but I'm not picking on the Saints. It just so happened that I'm just having to monitor these games, and these plays had to go against them. Anyway, in this game, the Vikings were trying to stay alive for the playoff berth. You know, they didn't make it. We all know that whole story. They didn't make it. Saints did. So skip that part. 10 minutes, 21 seconds left in the first half. The Vikings was facing 1st and 10 from the Saints 5-yard line. Now, Kirk Cousins, quarterback for the Vikings, took the ball from center, did a pitch toss to running back Mike Boone. Mike Boone, that's when he took the ball to the outside on the edge, and he blitzed his way towards the pylon. When he got towards the pylon, the defenders was closing in, and that's when Boone had actually lunged himself towards the end zone, hitting the pylon. At a quick glance, it appeared that he was out of bounds by his right foot. But line judge Kevin Cody from Adrian Hill's crew was all over this execution. After stepping back from the play, watching the process, that's the best part about it. Step back, watch the process. He looked at Boone, and then signaled the touchdown to make sure he was in. He followed that whole process. Replay showed that when Boone was able to approach the pylon, he was dragging his right foot. Then he extended his left hand with the ball in his hand to hit the pylon right before he fell out of bounds. The call on the field stood. It was a great execution for the running back, but for Coley, awareness, that was spot on how he followed the same process. Now, same game, still sticking with the Vikings and the Saints. Now, in this game, it was 4th and goal from the Saints 1-yard line with 2 minutes and 15 seconds left. Now, this game was pretty much over. However, officiating never stops. So 2 minutes, 15 seconds left in regulation. Cousins received the ball for shotgun formation. Cousins actually went to play action towards right. And while he was drifting towards right, that's when he saw wide receiver Adam Thielen coming back to him near the pylon. Cousins rifled the ball to Thielen, and he caught the pass, but was pushed out of bounds by Saints cornerback Janoris Jenkins. Now, Jenkins had signaled incomplete, and professionally, Cody, again, I'm calling him out again, Cody had focused on the play, went through the process thoroughly, and signaled the touchdown as if Jenkins was not in his face. It was like Jenkins was nowhere. He just went with his job, staying focused, signaled the touchdown. Now, at the snap of the ball, Cody had stepped back to his right, and when he witnessed where the ball was when Thielen actually possessed the ball in the air, processing the catch through and made the correct call while the receiver was at the high point of the ball with the ball in his hands, and you see it freeze right there. The ball was over the goal line, and his body right before he got pushed out of bounds. The ball was over the goal line. Dylan had instant security of the ball, did not bobble the ball. It was a quick bang bang play, and Cody was able to nail that at that time in real time speed. Fantastic play right there for Cody to nail that play, another play in this game. Week 16, still standing week 16. Chicago Bears, Jacksonville Jaguars. Okay, now this call is one of those wild plays. 8 minutes, 28 seconds left in the first half. Jaguars is facing 2nd and 10 from the Bears' 20-yard line. Jaguars quarterback Mike Glennon received the ball from shotgun formation, and he checked to his right, but then he looked to his left and tossed a deep high ball on the left-hand side to wide receiver DJ Clark Jr. to the front post of the pylon. Clark Jr. was covered tightly by the Bears cornerback. However, when the cornerback was trying to go for the ball, that's when you saw DJ actually secure the ball in the air. Following the process through, side judge Anthony Jeffers of Jerome Bogart's crew wasted no time in recognizing this bang-bang execution that it was a score. When Clark actually was at the high point of the ball in flight, he immediately secured the ball in the air. Now, when he landed, DJ's foot, both his feet had came down with his right foot slightly inbounds with probably less than an inch away from the line. But the play was so fast in a blur, we saw that it was even in slow motion. If you see here, that when he came down, his foot was inches away from the goal line. Both feet coming in. It was so fast, but Jeffers still recognized in the bang-bang play that he had secured the ball, landed both feet in, inches from the sideline. That was a wild play for DJ to make, and then also for Jeffers to be able to make that right call on the field. Great stuff. Hey, these guys, these officials have done a great job this year. Kudos to football ops operation team now this year. They made some changes with the officiating led by Troy Vincent, Executive Vice President of Football Operations. He and his great team that he have up there with Senior Vice President of Officiating, Roberto Riberon, and then Mr. Walt Anderson, a great guy. I love talking to Mr. Anderson at the clinics. A really good guy there, who is the Senior Vice President of Officiating Training and Development, and Perry Philwell, Senior Vice President of Officiating Communication Administration. Haven't met him yet, but I'm sure I will sometime soon. These guys came together, football operations led by Mr. Vincent. These guys did a great job this year. Now, I will come back with a podcast talking about what they did in the postseason. Some great calls in the postseason too. So make sure y'all stay locked in on the LockerTalk podcast. Yes, I am your host, Barry Barnes, founder and CEO of Locka-report.com. And go and check the site out. If you want to see more stuff about the officials, let's go to the site, click on NFL Caretakers. That's the name I gave the officials. I can't go around saying NFL officials on the site, get my head taken off, but that's all right. They are caretakers because they take care of the game. So click on that link. You'll see some great stuff about the NFL officiating on there. Now, also make sure you guys check me out on all of my social handles on Twitter at Locker_report, on Instagram, LockReport100, all small caps. Also, check me out on Facebook, LockerReport.com, and also check out the podcast, LockerTalk, on Facebook. But you guys know.
Come on, man.
You heard the president. Come on, man. Subscribe today to LockerTalk Podcast on YouTube. Hey, you guys won't be let down. Make sure you guys check out the site. Some great stuff. Officials, keep on doing your job up there, guys. Did a great year. Can't wait to talk to you guys and show you what you guys did in the postseason as well. Everyone stay blessed. Talk to you guys soon. Let's get it.